Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And like I said, now I'm going to be reviewing the sequel to The Rescuers. Now I'm going to be reviewing the sequel that was released in 1990, The Rescuers Down Under. And it's a very solid sequel, very fun, solid sequel, I would say. And traditionally this is the first Rescuers Down Under is the first animated sequel that was made by Disney. So yeah, this is this is the first sequel that Disney has made, and the animation is still very well made. And you can tell for quality. The animation has got, of course, this. The animation from 1977 was good, old school animation, but of course this is like, now it's 13 years later. People have made animation look better, and when you look at the characters, the animation of the characters has looked better as well. So, but still, and the film, the first film was a success. The film underperformed. I'm not sure what the budget was though, but it made less money than the first film though. But it still got mostly some positive reviews. It has the same rating on IMDb as the first film, a 6.9. The first one has an 83%, so this one has a 68%. So it's still mainly positive. And the original cast of our two leads, they come back. Bob Newhart as Bernard, and Eva Gabor as Miss Bianca, and this is her last film role that she did before she died in 1995. This is 1990, but I guess this was the last time retired. Then she died in 1995. Even you have like a small cameo voice appearance of Bernard Fox as the Chairman Mouse, from the Rescue Aid Society from the first film. And he also voices this Dr. Mouse that was trying to do surgery on Wilbur later. And speaking of Wilbur, there's the same. It's the brother to Orville from the first film. Who helps them, take the first film. Orville took the Bernard and Bianca to where they need to go, to the Devil's Bayou. Well, his brother Wilbur, of course, this is a nod to the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, takes them to Australia, and this time it's got a different voice actor. I forgot that it was voiced by John Candy. Until I said before how much I love John Candy. I miss him very much. His John Candy, he was fun. In the brother Wilbur has a much more larger role than Orville did in the first film. And I enjoy John Candy. And he had a little the character doesn't do much though, but still it was nice. But it's still nice to hear John Candy's voice still, regardless. And then and the story is that it's in Australia. It takes place in Australia, where there you have this boy named Cody who goes out on his own, and he finds this giant eagle, this rare giant gold eagle. Well, it's not really made of gold, but the feathers are gold. Caught in a trap, lets it out, and this eagle is just like the size of a dragon. Pretty much it's like the same size like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. It's that size. The kid's able to ride on the giant eagle, or like that's what basically that's what the size is. This eagle is so huge, it's like the same size as Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. It's that big, and probably because it's rare, because it's like a type of eagle that's rare. And it shows it to its nest. It has 3 eggs. But as he was about to head back home, he sees a little mouse, a little tied up, but it's actually a trap. He falls to a pit, and that's where he meets our villain, who is a sinister poacher by the name of McLeach. And I thought the poacher McLeach, I thought he was a much better villain than Madame Medusa. Well, a couple reasons that Madame Medusa, she's just batshit crazy basically, but here, McLeach, he's like more sinister, though, and does like aspects that is much more violent and vicious than Madame Medusa does. And first off, another reason why first of all, I enjoy the actor who voiced McLeach, and it's voiced by George C. Scott. Yeah, George C. Scott from Patton and The Changeling, which are two great Patton movies that I've seen. The war film and the horror film The Changeling. That's a good ghost film. But he's been in several other movies, several tons of films. But George C. Scott, he did a great job as McLeach. He was a fun villain as well, but a lot more sinister than Madame Medusa is. And he's about to let him go, but then he sees the feather from the eagle that was in his backpack. And he knows it because he killed a male one because he had the feather, and a different feather from the male, and he's going to get the female. And he makes it seem like that the boy was eaten by crocodiles by throwing the backpack in. And he takes him hostage to tell him where he saw where the eagle's nest is. And the mouse that uses bait gets, the mouse communications. It travels all the way to New York to the Rescue Aid Society. And Bernard, he's trying to propose to Miss Bianca. Like I said, because they're now together, and he's trying to propose to her, but he keeps getting interrupted by a reason. So they get told. Miss Bianca misinterprets that it was a mission. Well, no, Bernard misinterprets what he thought was proposed. He didn't know about the mission until Miss Bianca says it. So they go to Australia. With the help of Wilbur, voiced by John Candy. This is always good to hear John Candy. And tells him about the little boy's in trouble. Takes him on his way, which he couldn't travel the far, but he could go by plane. He says, "Cannonball!" Flies all the way down. And until he tries to prepare to landing, where you have this kangaroo mouse named Jake. Tries to make the landing runway a bit longer. He hurt, and as a result, Wilbur hurts himself, and he tries to get to a doctor who's trying to perform surgery on him. And then you get the whole thing with Jake he sees that Miss Bianca is a nice lady, beautiful lady, and kind of takes a little liking. That's kind of what it's a cliche where it's happened with a guy who likes who's in love with his woman, and then another guy tries to who also thinks that tries to get in the way with the other guy. That's a cliche. You've seen what I'm talking about. It's a cliche that's done in a lot of films before. But as they travel, for one attempt where Bernard's trying to propose again, but gets interrupted by a snake, and with back with the McLeach, and he has his pet lizard. Named Joanna. What kind of a lizard that she is. she's some kind of like a saying like maybe like a big Gila monster, or some kind of lizard of that aspect. But um, she had to try to get the boy to talk. You know, where's the nest? Locks him away with all these other trapped animals. And there's like this half. Oh, that's one other thing. There's the boy. He can talk to animals as well. Like just like Penny in the first film, she can talk to animals. And there's this lizard by the name of Frank. He's like a little bit. He's been locked up away. He's been locked up for a long time, and he's just going a little bit loopy. They tried to attempt to get make this stick long to get the keys, but Joanna catches them and wrecks it, and then puts the keys back where they belong. And then you get a funny scene with Joanna. She takes McLeach's eggs. He's like, and George Scott, he's just fun in the role as well. He's like, did you take my eggs? And she's trying to hide the eggs, and she's like trying to sneak getting an egg, but he's keep on moving it back and forth. She's trying to get the eggs, and McLeach's like looking to see if she's taking any. And he's like, I give you crocodile eggs, I give you other animal eggs and eagle's eggs, and you can't stay away from my. And then you get this really creepy scene where his eyes just start glowing red, just to show the sinister look in his eyes. I swear his eyes start glowing red because he's planning to use the kid. And one leads to another. They Bernard, Miss Bianca, and Jake, they get there, and they see him let the kid go, but he makes the thing that the eagle was shot down on the radio, and he's like, oh, but those eggs, you know, and using the kid as bait to lead him towards the nest, and he gets this big huge vehicle with a cage, and they follow him out there, and but with John Candy, he's just the mouse doctor trying to perform surgery with a chainsaw, and he freaks out. He gets out, but his back gets fixed back as he falls, and he's like, "Oh, my back is all better." And then he tries to it goes out looking for them, and then when they get to the nest, the mice they meet with Cody, tells them it's a trap, and the eagle comes in. I think it was called what was the eagle called? Meritude. It's Meritude. I think I can best pronounce the name of what they said. Meritude, I think it was called. He's trying to yell, it's a trap, though, but too late. McLeach catches in this big net. I got her. And Cody tries to free the eagle, but they both get put in the big cage. Same with Jake and Miss Bianca and Bernard. It gets left behind, and McLeach says, that now they got the bird. He wants Joanna to eat the egg, so make sure the eagle is the only one that's left. Stay that rare, because he wants to use it to capture the eagle so he can be rich. So he lures, and I think the Joanna. The thing I think is though, why I think I like this film. I remember years ago that I did see. It was more in the ending that I saw more of the ending of the Rescuers Down Under first before I saw the first Rescuers. So that's why I think it's much more. It is a fun sequel, but it's slightly better than the first film to me, because I remember the scene, the last half of the film, on years ago, before I saw the first film. And it is a very fun, worthy sequel. And the character Joanna, I like the alligators in the first film, Nero and Brutus. They have their fun moments, especially with the organ playing. But Joanna, I thought she was also a fun character as well. Like, the way she talks. I mean, it's like all the animals can talk, but not the villains' animals. Like the alligators, they couldn't talk, while all the other animals talk, and while this one too, well, she's kind of like sort of like talking, but she's like, it's like, I don't know, it's just like animal babbling talking. It's like she's like, so anyway, he lures Joanna to the nest. She tries to eat it, but it's too hard. Which that Bernard switched the eggs for rocks so that the lizard wouldn't eat them. He hid them, and then Joanna thinks that she can get rid of the eggs by just tossing them over the cliff. So then Wilbur shows up, and Bernard tells him, "You stay here and sit on the eggs." He's like, "Oh no, I draw the line, oh." But he sits there anyways, like, I gotta be more assertive. No means no means no. And there was also a funny line when after when McLeach caught the boy and was heading to his hideout. He's like, home on the range, where are the animals in chains and something. It's like where I cut their hide, something. It was, I forget how the words were, but that was like a fun little song, sinister song from the villain. And George C. Scott was a great villain, I would say. Yeah, I would say he was much better villain, more sinister wise than Madame Medusa. Madame Medusa, she's just crazy, you know, but he's just more vicious and serious and sinister way. And on the way, he has to get rid of the boy, and he plans to lure the boy down into the crocodile river for him to get for him to get eaten by the crocodiles. That's what I mean. He's willing to kill this boy so no one will ever know. So they make this thing that the Rangers, they found the backpack to show the mother that he was eaten by the crocodiles, so he has to make it prove that he has been eaten by the crocodiles. That's the thing. So that's why he's much more serious. He's willing to murder a child, you know, so he can make a clean getaway and no one will know about it. So he's luring the boy, and Bernard, while he was behind, he manages to hitch a ride on this razorback, or wild boar, but I guess in Australia it's called razorback. And which makes sense because there is a horror film that I have called Razorback that takes place in Australia, and that's what it's called. So I guess in Australia, wild boars or pigs are called razorbacks. And he sees him sleeping, and he says, "Ahem." And the boar razorback was about to be angry on him, but he says, "No, you listen to me. You know, I have enough trouble. You're gonna get me where I need to go." Is that clear? He's like, "Good, now get." So he gets there fast enough, and he cuts the engines to his vehicle, and steals the keys. And he runs, you know, to being chased by Joanna, and then he makes the attempt where Joanna runs into McLeach because he was about to shoot the rope that he has the boy tied up so he can fall in, but Bernard makes Joanna jump on him. They both fall in the river, and the crocodiles go for them. Joanna, she makes it to safety. Well, he's hitting the crocodiles, like thinks he's chasing away. Yeah, you don't mess with McLeach. And then Joanna's just like, look at him, waving him bye-bye. And he sees he goes about to go over the waterfall, and he says, "No!" And then he falls to his death. And they say the boy he ends up in the river, but ends up being saved by the eagle, where the Bernard gave the keys to Jake and Miss Bianca. They unlocked themselves. So, and Bernard is like, Miss Bianca, if anything happens now, will you marry me? She says yes. Jake says, well done, mate. And boy, says let's all go home. And then the film ends with John Candy, Wilbur. He's still on the nest, and he's like, hey, I quit. I'm done here. And then the egg sack's like, oh, aren't you a little fellow? Oh, they bite him. So yeah, and then that's when the credits roll. Now, couple things to consider. well, technically one thing with the villain was gone, and everyone says they all plan to go home. One thing still remains uncertain. Whatever happened to the animals that was trapped in McLeach's hideout? They were still chained up, and well, I think that the lizard, he let himself back in the cage. I guess it was unlocked. I don't know, but we never saw those characters again. For all I know, they're probably still chained up down in the hideout. So that's one thing they didn't establish. We didn't see them be free or anything. So that's just one thing to consider, that we never saw those animals again. They're still end up chained and down in the basement of Nick Leach's hideout. So, and yeah. But I enjoy the film a lot more, but I do enjoy it more than the first film. I said it before, but the villain was much more of a sinister villain than the first one, and plus when you have George C. Scott's voice, that made the character fun at the same time. George C. Scott did a great job voicing McLeach. He was absolutely fun role, especially the scene where he's dealing with his pet lizard Joanna. And Joanna was a fun character as well. And with the other voice cast, Bob Newhart and Eva Gabor, they both did wonderful as once again as Bernard and Miss Bianca. And it's more Bernard you root for, because he wants to propose to he wanted to propose to Miss Bianca, but keeps interrupted. But at the same time, he becomes a hero, because he saved the eggs. He basically saved them from the poacher. He helped push them in the river, but basically, and save the boy. Technically, he's like the underdog, basically. Trying to being a hero, and tries to propose to Miss Bianca. So he's definitely the underdog to root for. John Candy. It's always nice to hear John Candy. The character, the brother of Orville, has a much bigger role than Orville in the first film. But still, he didn't do much though. But still, it's nice to hear John Candy, because I enjoy John Candy. Always a pleasure to hear him. I miss the guy. The animation is definitely well animated. It's definitely animated for 1990. Clearly, when it's years later, the quality of the animation is improved a little bit more than it was back in the 70s. But still, and the film is like the first film. It's a short movie. It's only about 78 minutes. It's definitely a short film like the first film, fast paced. And the first one of the features has a making of Rescuers Down Under, and it shows how to capture the quality of Australia, they actually took a trip to Australia to look at the scenery, to get the feel, to make the film feel like it's in Australia, the environments and all that stuff, and they even went to the San Diego Zoo to look at animals from Australia as well. And that's why I like, because nowadays, back then they do research like stuff like that, where they go places and especially for anime films as well, to get the feel for the things. Well, nowadays you don't have to do that now. But I don't know. Well, actually, in Moana, the directors did research about the group of people that was based on the movie for. So I can't say that though, but maybe I can't say that though. It's just that some people just don't want to do nowadays. Don't like doing all that stuff. Think it's. I don't know. It's just I just feel like they don't do that nowadays, because everything with technology and everything. I mean, it shows them they took the time to actually go to Australia just to to create to get a feel for the animation. to show how big the country is, even from the viewpoint of even from a mouse, is what they said. So yeah. And the film, like I said, it underperformed box office wise because it opened on the same weekend as Home Alone and Rocky V. Because of course Home Alone was the big hit, and so but it opened the same weekend, so it underperformed though. But still, I enjoy Rescuers Down Under. It's definitely a worthy classic sequel to the first film. But I enjoy it a bit more though than the first film because years ago I saw the last half of the film on, I think it was on the Disney Channel back in the day. I think it was, yeah. The old Disney Channel, I would say, yeah. But it doesn't make me like the first film any less because 40 years later for the first film, it's still a classic animated film for Disney as well from '77. But this one, for their first animated sequel, it's definitely a first worthy sequel to a Disney film. And like I said, if anyone has not seen both these films, especially if they're fans of Disney, check them out though. If anyone has not seen or heard of the Rescuers. And like I said, the voice cast, they do a good job. I enjoy the characters of Bernard and Miss Bianca. The villain was great, better than the first film to me though, because he's much more sinister. He's willing to kill the boy to for him not telling anybody. And especially Georgie Scott, who I enjoy as an actor, especially from The Changeling and Patton and many others. Great villain. He did a great job voicing. Especially the way I said the same thing about John Candy. I missed the guy, so it was very nice to hear his voice as well. So yeah, that's my review for The Rescuers Down Under. Definitely a great sequel. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned on the next movie review. Later.